everybody, it's me here, back with another Archetype 101. Today covering one of the leaders that has never been present in our game before, Mono Yellow Whis. Now, before we jump into the deck, I do go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and on weekends for my tournament stream. So if you guys want to catch me live, links to that will be in the description down below. But with that said, let's just jump right into the archetype. So the archetype isn't insanely unique for what it's worth, but there are a couple of aspects of the way it does things that do make it unique. It's a very combo centric deck. You're focusing on comboing to be able to free play your battle cards. It's vanilla synergistic. It utilizes 2k 2 drop 15Ks, which is weird. We've never really seen that before, and actually a lot of vanillas in this set are in that 15k 2 drop range, which is fine. They're still able to swing for the leader on the awakened side, which is great, but it's just something new that we need to take into account for. And finally, like I was saying, lots of free plays. A lot of things want you to cheat out cards or play them without paying a full cost, and this deck really revolves around that alongside the combo centric aspects of it. If we look at the leader, we have Whis. When this card attacks, draw one card. Auto, once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when a yellow skillless battle card with 15k power is placed in your drop area from your combo area, you may play it from your drop area. So defensively, whenever you're comboing, you get to free play a battle card on your opponent's turn, which is great. Means you're not really paying a cost to be able to play the battle cards, and you have a lot of synergies with the cards that do come on board once they are live. Then he has an awaken where when your life is at 4 or less, or you have a yellow Unison card with specified cost of 2 in play, which means on turn 2 you can almost guarantee your awaken, which is amazing, like we've seen with Gotenks in the past. You may draw one card and then switch up to 1 year energy active mode, add cards from your life until you have 6 life, and flip this card over. So basically the exact same awaken conditions as Gotenks, which is amazing because cards, cards like these have an amazing amount of consistency in being able to awaken so early, basically guaranteed on turn 2 if you see your Unison. On the awakened side, again, swings, draws a card. Auto once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when you combo with a vanilla at 15k, you get to play it. Then he has an activate main for 1 yellow. And you get to choose 1 yellow Son Goku or Vegeta when energy cost of 2 in your battle area and place it in its own trap area. You get to choose 1 yellow battle card from your deck or hand with an energy cost of 3, EX evolve skill, and the same name as the character, and play it and then shuffle your deck. And that's really what this deck really comes down to trying to do. You're free playing a bunch of vanillas and then you're swapping them out for stronger EX versions of themselves from the deck, from your hand, or from anywhere else. And that's basically what the deck's trying to do. And then every other card is revolving around doing that thing, making sure you can get out your vanillas to get out your EXs. And in the back pocket, there's probably a lot of extra synergies we can find in there if we really dig into the card pool. Next up, we take a look at the Gokus and Vegetas. So here we have the 15k Son Goku. Not much is it here. It's the vanilla that we combo away to free play. And then the EX evolve is Son Goku Deity's Discipline. 20k critical. EX evolve for 1 yellow and you get to draw a card. So of course you get the actual EX evolve on top if you're not using it with your Whis ability. And the nice thing here is that it's the same cost. So whether you're doing it with the leader ability or you're doing it with the actual card in hand, it's basically the same thing. And here you get the bonus of drawing a card, basically replacing the card you're playing. Auto, when this card attacks, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards and rest 1 KO it. So very cheap level removal, which is amazing. And then auto, when this card is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, play up to 1 yellow Vegeta when energy cost of 2 from your deck or drop area, then shuffle your deck if you looked through it. So this card is something we need to keep in mind for the future, because while there's not a ton of yellow Vegetas in the game, especially some that cost 2, it is a card that scales really well the older the game gets and the bigger the card pool gets. The only rec is that it's a 2-drop yellow Vegeta. So this deck is something we need to keep in mind in the future, because it's something that might scale really well the more and more cards we get in, and that's able to expand on what this archetype is trying to do. On the other end of the spectrum, we have the Vegeta, 15k vanilla, and then his EX evolve is a 20k double striker. We see this a lot in decks that utilize both Goku and Vegeta. One will have crit, one will have double strike. They usually swap between the two. And same thing, EX evolve for 1 yellow, you get to draw a card on a Vegeta with an energy cost of 2. When your opponent activates a counter skill during a battle with this card, you may switch this card to active mode. If you do negate this card skill for the turn, basically making him a counter dual attacker, which is pretty cool. Extra aggro is always great, especially on the double striker, which is usually what you'll be trying to close out the game with. And then his auto, that when he gets removed, you get to choose a yellow Son Goku with an energy cost of 2 from your deck and play it. Same thing here in this archetype specific, it'll play out the vanilla so that you can keep on continuing your chain over and over again. It's kind of funny because you're just going to keep swapping between the two. You're going to go from double striker to the critter to the critter to the double striker as your opponent's dealing with your card, which is kind of funny. But realistically here, the biggest thing is that we need to keep an eye out for these free play for the 2 drops, because in the future it could open up some very interesting lines. Then there's the free play. There's a lot of cards that synergize well with playing out these vanillas. Here we have Son Gohan stalling for time. When you attack, you add one card from your life to your hand. If it does, it gets 10k power. So it's those self-awaken or one-drops that we see often. Although with the added auto that when you deal damage to your opponent by attacking with a card, you get to look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck and you get to play a 15k vanilla in rest mode. So this is basically turboing out, making if you need to go down the awaken life route, you can do this, and you're guaranteeing yourself that you're gonna probably hit a 15k vanilla. Then we have Krillin making a comeback, a 10k blocker. If your leader is yellow, when one of your skillless battle cards when energy cost of 2 is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, you may play this card from your hand. If you do, you can't play copies of this card for the turn. Again, protecting yourself, protecting your board. I don't know how much, I don't think they'll see a ton of play, but it's just to say that it's something you have to keep in mind. You can extend your plays even if your vanillas get answered. We have Bulma sending out an SOS auto if your leader card is a Whis card and it's your opponent's turn. When this card is used in a combo with up to 1 skillless battle card with an energy cost of 2 and 15k power from your deck, then shuffle your deck. Effectively, she's a 5k combo. That it's unfortunate that the combo can't be that she's a 10k combo. I know that'd be a little bit too busted, but it's already on your opponent's turn, so I think defensively it wouldn't have been so bad if she was a 5k combo, but fine. She's a 5k combo anyways because she free plays. She's essentially free playing one of the vanillas. So she's a great consistency piece. You're probably going to run her in the deck because she's copies 8 through 12 of the Gokus and Vegetas, and she guarantees that you're going to see them to be able to combo them and start off your game plan. Then we have the TP Vegeta, the Insurmountable auto. When one of your yellow skillless battle cards with an energy cost of 2 is removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill or KO'd, you may play this card from your hand. If you do, you can't play copies of this card for the turn, giving yourself another Vegeta target to be able to evolve on top of. And you can also fetch this one out from the deck, so you don't have to get a vanilla if you don't want to with the Goku. If the Goku dies, you can get out this Vegeta instead. Auto once per turn, if this card's attack deals damage to an opponent or removes a marker from a Unison card, play up to 1 skillless battle card with energy cost 15 from your drop area. So now we're recurring over and over again what's in our drop. This one probably being the stronger target you get instead of the vanilla, just because you're able to start cheating out vanillas using him and then being able to evolve on top of it and do the critical stuff or the double striking stuff if you really want to. And then the other TP, we have Master's Aid Whis. If your leader is mono yellow and you add 1 card from your life to your hand, when this card is played, play up to 1 skillless battle card with 15k power from your drop area. Similar to the Son Gohan here just having the benefit that you don't actually need to attack if that's not what you want to do. So pick and choose your poison. It's not amazing, but it's okay. And if you choose to play the deck, odds are you are playing this amount just to be able to extend your plays, be able to get an extra card from your life to extend, things like that. And then finally, we have a few synergistic cards. We have Beerus in Awe of the Golden Emperor. For auto for 1 yellow, if your leader card is a Whis and it's your turn, when this card is used in a combo, choose up to 2 of your yellow skillless battle cards with 15k power, switch them to active mode, and they get 5k power for the duration of the turn, and you can't activate the auto skills of the copies of this card for the rest of your turn. Basically, this is one of those cards that's really going to bring the deck all together, because this is where your consistent aggro comes in. You're an early aggro vanilla deck that can then pop off even bigger by being able to EX evolve off of those vanillas. And this Beerus is where that's going to put in a ton of work, because for effectively 1 yellow, you're giving yourself 2 more attacks. And if you have yellow on top of that, you could just evolve on top of them and now have a critical swing as well as a double strike swing, both of which would be 25k because of the 5k boost that they got in their base form, which is a nice way to extend your plays. I like this card in this type of deck because it means you can go bigger, you can go quick. With the amount of energy you have available to, you might be able to really push on early. And then we have the Whis Helping Hand SR. When this card is played, look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, add up to 1 yellow skills battle card, or a yellow Unison card with specified cost of 2 among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So very similar to what the Goku is trying to do, just not as consistently. But here we're trying to find our piece. If we can't find our piece, well, we also have the benefit of being able to find our Unison instead. And then auto, when you use a yellow skill as battle card in a combo, draw 1 card. You can't activate the auto skill on copies of this card for the turn. So this is a really sweet card because it guarantees that you're going to basically replace every single card you combo with. Already, it's not costing you a card to combo with the vanillas because you get to free play them. But now we're actually essentially plussing if they stay on board for a while until our opponent deals with them, which is really great. It does suck though that it's locked to 1. You can only activate 1 ever, even if you have 2 on board, because he prevents the auto on copies of this card from being cast. It's a shame, but it's a card you would run nonetheless. You run 1, he's on board. Now he just sticks there. And if your opponent wants to use removal to get rid of something that's just getting you a cycle every time you combo, hey, that's on them. Then we have the Unison, a very unique Unison, you know, and this is what I was saying, where this deck does aspects of what we've seen before in different decks, but differently. Vados is a great card to really exemplify that. So we have Vados Cosmic Aid, a 2-cost 15k Unison. When your opponent attacks, you may choose one yellow skill as battle card in your hand or drop area and combo with it. If you do, negate the skill for the turn. And what's really cool is that you can apply this to when they're attacking Vados herself as well, which means defensively she can become a 20k Unison, which is really cool. We've never been able to combo with our Unisons before, so the fact that we can do this now is really interesting. Plus, it means that on turn 2, you can basically tap out and still be able to combo an extra card off of Vados, which is really sweet. Then you get an activate main. You get to choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or Unison cards and switch it to rest mode. This synergizes really well with the Goku, which sets up as removal. So now you're guaranteeing that your Goku is going to be able to start popping cards with her. Obviously not ignoring barrier, but hey. And then -4 activate main. Play up to 2 skill as battle cards with 15 power from your deck or drop area, and then shuffle your deck. Extends our plays. Is something that allows us to be able to close out the game if we have the right set of cards in our hands. You combo this with the fact that, let's say you have a Beerus in hand. Now for 0 energy, for 1 energy, you're able to swing with both, then use the Beerus, restand both of them, and then be able to evolve on top of them. And then for 3 energy on your closeout turn, you've effectively swung 5 to 6 times with double strikes, with crits, potentially even more so if they negated double swing. So a lot there that can go really well. Vados, while it doesn't blow our minds and is as powerful as things we've seen in the past, definitely synergizes well with what the deck is trying to do, and definitely brings out a new way of thinking about dealing with Unisons, especially with the fact that she can combo herself into a 20k position, which we already know from all the other 20k Unisons in the past are very tough to deal with. Then on the defense, we have Piccolo Precision Strikes, a 1-cost counterattack that negates attack. You have to play the card, and then you get to place this card in its owner's drop area at the start of your turn. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards when each cost of 4 or less, and negate its skills for the turns. So while I don't think this is going to see a ton of play, it does set up some interesting positions where if you know it's your opponent's last attack and there's a battle card on the board that has a really annoying when it dies. So like, let's say Shenron. This would work really well with Shenron in that at the start of your turn, so even if Piccolo has his skills negated, it won't matter. At the start of your turn, when it would have skills back, you're able to remove the fact that, let's say, Shenron won't ever die. And then you're able to pop it by resting it with Vados and then being able to swing in with Goku. So there's that synergy there that works really well. I think he's a great tech card. I think he's a very interesting way to sideboard for things like Shenron or any deck that has really annoying cards that you can't deal with. Granted, it doesn't get around barrier because you have to choose the card first before negating its skills. But regardless, there are a ton of cards that this hits. And I think against the right deck, this sets up really well to be able to do removal, especially since yellow does struggle with removal because of how conditional yellow removal can be in terms of setting it in rest mode. Sometimes it's just stalling it instead of actually hard removing it. So this is one of those consistency pieces that can really help you mitigate for what your opponent is doing in the right matchup. But again, it's in the right matchup. In some decks, in some games, it's kind of dead. It's just, but at least in the games that it's dead, it's a free negate, or it's a body negate, which isn't the worst. And that's Mono Yellow Whis. An interesting take on something we've seen before. We have a really cool Unison. We have a lot of consistency in our game plan with a lot of cards that are trying to cheat out the cards we're trying to play. And there's some open design space in there with the fact that the more Yellow and Vegeta and Gokus that we get at the 2-cost slot, and they don't necessarily have to be vanilla, there is some space there for the deck to really expand and open up as the game grows. With that said, how would you guys build Vanilla Whis? I'm not really too sure. I think you just throw in a bunch of pieces from the Archetype and then you add in some consistency stuff like Bergamos and stuff like that. But I'm not entirely sure because I haven't tested it at all. It's fun. It's interesting, but I don't think it's my cup of tea personally. But I'm really interested to see what you guys build because maybe there's a build out there that really intrigues me to play. So let me know in the comments down below. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Hey, if you dislike it, thumbs down works too. And you guys want to catch more of my Archetype 101s, we are doing them every week until we go through every single set 12 Archetype. Then subscribe buttons right in the corner. And with that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.